I don't know if it's the same in Australia as it is in UK, but I always find that high school tends to be very university focused, and like when you're in like the last couple of years, they're basically saying like you need to know what you need to do, you need to know what you want to do
Mm,
when you leave school, and it's almost like you're rushed into it. And luckily, like I knew I wanted to do journalism for quite a while, so I knew that was the right choice. But I think for a lot of people, they have no idea. So then, and they still like when they're halfway through university, they still don't have any idea what they're doing or why they chose that course. It's only
mm.
because like they were rushed into it by teachers and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Do you think
and
that's the same
they
there?
had to pick something. There's no, yeah, definitely. There's no way that a 16, 17-year-old could possibly pick what they want to do for the next 40
Yeah,
years. I think
yeah,
it's like it's an impossible one. I think a lot of people, um, I think it's less about picking what's going to make you happy and more about being happy with what you picked almost. In that, like, uh, it's going to be pretty hard to pick the perfect thing and realize, oh, this was exactly the thing that was going to make me happy. It's probably a lot easier to make a decision and then almost commit to it and say, well, this is what I've chosen, so this is what I'm going to go towards. Obviously, there's cases like yours and mine where we decided that that wasn't quite it, and we want to shift a little bit or shift entirely and start afresh. But I think ultimately yeah, it's a seemingly impossible decision that everybody has to try to fumble their way through, and some do better than others. But I think most people sort of end up okay.
yeah. I think uncertainty should be more of a positive thing. I think people who aren't sure what they want to do should be told that that's okay. You're young. You maybe
Yeah.
shouldn't know what you're supposed to do, and maybe like I always think like throughout the whole of my life, I never really want to know what I'm doing next. I don't want to know what I'm doing like next year or like in 10
Mm.
years. I don't like that idea because like, well, for instance, like I always, when I started studying journalism, I wanted to do music reviews and interviews and stuff like that. And I started doing that. And then I realized I was saying the same thing over and over again about every single new song that's coming out. And I just found that it was like ripping away my like love for music because everything just started to sound the same as I was reviewing it. So then I changed and wanted to just write opinion pieces. And then I started getting into academic writing, and it's just all of that wouldn't have happened if I just had closed all these
Mm.
doors and just focused on one thing. So I think almost uncertainty should be praised. Like you should have all these doors open. You know?
Yeah, I think so for sure. Especially when you've got such a long journey ahead, you want to have as
Mm,
many options as possible. Obviously, when you're getting towards
yeah,
the end of your career, those options will definitely narrow. But at the beginning, you should be open to as many different paths as possible. And as you say, uncertainty should be a good thing. I think for me, there's sort of the option of like the gap year, that take the year off and work out what
mm,
you want to do. I don't
yeah,
think that would have been good for me either, because I think I would have just done exactly what I did, but a year later. Because I think
mm,
because I was already so entrenched that hey, this is what I want to do. Um, I think I would have just assumed that that's what I was going to do, and I wouldn't have thought too hard about it, as opposed to actually being open to trying things and working out what you want to do. I think for me, I had to almost do it to realize that I didn't like it. Otherwise, I still would have done it anyway, just 12 months later.